Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the final round of the Raceface F4 Championship. Oh, nearly said TCR. My name is Stephen Koenig, and not in the box this evening, but is going to be out on the track. It was Jan Price. We'll actually hear a little bit from him a little bit later. But let's go down to the circuit. As we know, qualifying has just started here at Okayama. We're going to have two 20-minute heats that the drivers are going to have to compete with, and everyone looking to try and get the jump. The championship being incredibly close right towards the top. The top three only separated by 12 points. So let's see how this is all going to work out, though. It is 24 degrees out there. Okayama with the F4s is going to be a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see how it's all going to work out as the drivers make their way through. So, with that being said, qualifying is underway, and our drivers are now trying to figure out what they can do to get better, bigger, faster, and power their way to the top here at Okayama. And I can't wait to see how it's all going to work. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Good to see quite a few people jumping into the grandstands to be a part of the amazing show. As we take a look at Steve Pepper, he's making his way around, and Tim the cameraman will be giving us some of the noise down on the track because it's always beautiful to hear it. So, a couple of drivers out on circuit. Troy Dolenchik out in first place is leading out the championship. He's closely getting followed, so he needs to be well aware of the situation at hand. Then we have got a new entrant that's just joined us, Dino Sturman, coming to have a bit of fun. Good to see Dino out there wearing the Aston Martin colours by the looks of it, as he's getting himself prepared. Bego Krobler, Doug Herber, along with Werner Swart, Chase Herald in the AlphaTauri, Jeff Hancox, Steve Pepper going and trying to pull himself back together, Jan Price from Team Heap together, and my fellow commentator out on track, Jan Fourie, out and puts himself into second place with his lap times. James Pepper, Etienne Swart, Nico Killerman, Noah Hendricks also finally being able to join. Good to see Noah out here, and going back into the early days of Raceface, he was racing with us, so good to see him back out here. And then Timothy Stanton out in the field as well. So currently at the top of the charts, Troy Dolenchik looking to make an impact. He's hoping to get a little bit more of a run and hopes to claw his way into victory. So let's see how this is going to work out for him as we keep an eye on the battle at hand. So, with that being said, Jan Fourie out in second place. Very closely contended a championship at the moment for all the drivers. And taking a look at our points, we have got Jason Coetzee. I do apologize, not Troy Dolenchik. It's Jason Coetzee that is leading out the championship. I don't see him here for Heat 1. Then second place is Troy Dolenchik. So Jason Coetzee's got 251 points. Troy Dolenchik with 242 points. Jan Fourie in third place is on 200 points. He is our TCR champion for Season 2. He's looking to try and keep his name in the podium for this time round. Then we got Julian Familiaris in fourth, along with Jan Krobler is a little bit more up towards the front. So good to see that Jan Krobler, aka Bego Krobler, looking to make his name known here tonight. Luke Lucchese also into a bit of a fight. He is lying in sixth place. Got Timothy Stanton. He is fighting it out in seventh position. Eighth is Andrew Thomas, along with Herman Lazarus in ninth, and Jeff Hancox rounding our top 10. But currently out on track, we have got Jan Fourie putting in the fastest lap time, that 127.908 being his best lap time. So the cars are now trying to get a little bit quicker, trying to work their way through. And there is our current lap times as it stands. Jan Fourie puts himself into first place. Troy Dolenchik down into second place at 28.023. Dino Sturman in third place. Bego Krobler looking to get a bit more of a run. Gets a bit of an off track there. That's going to compromise his drive and throw him down the order. Chase Herald down in fifth place with the likes of Nico Killerman in sixth place. Noah Hendricks up into seventh. Now, Noah Hendricks has been racing a lot of prototypes, such as our new LDMH cars that have joined us on the Iracing service. So this is his first time in a league race in the F4. So opening broadening horizons into the world of single-seater racing. Taking a look, Free putting a 27.8 as his quickest lap time. So he's really, really starting to improve at the moment, trying to get a little bit better. And every time he goes out. So let's see what the guys will do. Troy Dolnicek, second place. Dino Sturman, Luke Lucchesi, Bego Krobler getting a little bit more of a run. Chase Herald, Nico Killerman, Timothy Stanton, Noah Hendricks, James Pepper, Etienne Swart, Janneman Price, and I see Steve Pepper just jumps himself into 9th position. The Cool Camels trying to get a little bit more of a run and take the fight to the South Africans. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Janneman Price down in 13th, 14th, Werner Swart, Doug Herber, and Jeff Hancock still to set a lap time at the moment. And just getting those off tracks, unfortunately compromising him in the previous laps, but he was able to get it all together and move himself into 12th position for the start of the race. Now this is all big thank you to Adendorff Machinery Mart. It's all powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart for the Raceface F4 Championship, and I gotta say big thank you to them for being a part of it. Remember, there is prizes on the line. They've got this immaculate toolbox that will be theirs. Good couple of thousands rand worth of work into that one, and I'm really looking forward to it. Also, we've got rumor that there may be something else lurking around that may be special for these drivers, and that is coming from the community himself. So good to see that there may be an extra surprise coming, but you have to go and keep an eye out on that one, out on the world of social media. Troy Johnchik leading out, Jan Ferree in second place. It looks like Dino Sturman has getting himself out of the pits. Luke Lucchesi trying to get a little bit more of a run. Bego Krobler in 5th position, trying to bolster his lap time. They're going after that 1:27.74 as their quickest lap time. We've got a 16-car field for Heat 1. Chase Herald getting in and out of the pits. He's getting himself sorted out. Timothy Stanton, along with James Pepper, trying to get a little bit more of a run as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an exciting one. As I said, the championship still extremely wide open. Jason Coetzee not here and can easily lose out the top spot to Troy Dolanchik, who's lying in second place, as there is only a difference of 9 points between first and second in the championship. Jan Ferree in third. If he wants to go and ensure that he takes the championship, we'll need Troy Dolanchik to actually drop all the way down into 16th position and score 2 wins to be able to take it. So the top spots are still open, and even first, second, and third can change up quite quickly with quite a few drivers sitting on top of one another. So keep an eye on it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a proper race. This is going to be a proper rundown to the wire for the Raceface F4 Championship Season 1, brought to you by the Adendorff Machinery Mart, and a big shout out to our sponsor. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, who do you think is going to be taking the top spot come the end of the race of Heat 1? Or do you think there's going to be a bit of a difference come the world of Heat 2, which will be happening tonight? Remember, they've got 2 20-minute heats to contend with. The drivers do have time to get themselves sorted out. They can change brake bias. Other than that, all these cars are on fixed setup. No changes can be done in terms of camber, tires, anything. You are in the exact same machinery as your competitor. The only thing you can do is adjust the brake bias to fit your driving style. And that does go and change things up a little bit for the drivers having to contend with it. It does utilize the iRacing's official series, so the drivers could go and get practice with the iRacing official series to get that extra little bit of leg up on the competition. At the moment, though, Troy Dolanchik, our 2023 Formula Ford 1600 champion, and he is getting closely followed by Chase Herald, who is keeping up the pressure at this point. These two know each other very, very well. They contend with each other in multiple other forms of motorsport, which is good to see them out there and having a bit of fun. So while Chase Herald just keeping in the tow, he's hoping to get a little bit more of a pace. Bego Krobler, though, getting it all types of sideways and parking it, having to get himself sorted out and just try and take a look back of the cars coming through as Chase Herald makes his way around. Does look like Bago has decided to go and pull into the pits. Jeff Sended Hancock's out on the circuit for Team Triad Racing. He's currently lying in 7th position, hoping to get a little bit more of a run. We saw the likes of Yanneman Price and Jeff Hancock's going and landing up into some side-by-side racing, and unfortunately when it came to Laguna Seca, they did have ever so slight contact, which changed up their race. As time's ticking by though, we're running out of time for drivers to improve their lap times, so let's see who's going to be able to get that one extra run to go and move themselves up through the field. I think it's going to be a big one for everyone at this point, but out on the line, all to go for Troy Dolenchik. Can take first place in the championship if he can score a win in Heat 1. Then we have got Werner Swart making his way around. Werner's also been on an absolute charge, going after family member Etienne Swart just ahead of him. So the two lying in 15th and 16th respectively, going and trading from their four-wheel action, or their two wheels, to four-wheel action. Let's see if we can actually get Yanneman to give us a bit of thoughts before he gets into the race. So let's see if I can drop in and bug him a little bit in the cockpit. Yanneman Price, are you there? Are you available? Are you still driving around?
It's even though I've parked it in the pits, and now we wait for the race to start. Not my best of qualifying. Couldn't get to my practice times, but you know, we'll take it as it is.
Now, it's very interesting out there. The guys having to push a little bit harder. The current lap time being that 1:27.6, but also want to point out that if Troy Dolenchik gets a win for Heat 1, he will take first place in the championship, and will be able to get away from the likes of Jason Coetzee, who doesn't seem to be in the grid. But the whole field keeping a very contending pace, 1:28 being the average lap time for the field. What's your thoughts onto it? How's it feeling out there? How's the tension in the pits?
Well, at this stage, very relaxed, but I think the race is going to be a different story, because looking at the lap times, I mean, it's close. I mean, if I could have gotten to my practice times that I did in the practice service, I mean, I would have been sitting behind Chase Herald, just between him and Noah Hendricks. So I think it's going to be a very, very close race with these lap times that are very evenly matched. I mean, from third place, you know, onwards, there's not much difference in it in the field.
And also, I mean, taking a look at the drivers out there, we've got some new drivers, some new names. Noah Hendricks able to return after a hiatus out of the likes of Raceface. Then we've also got Dino Sturman coming into play. Do you think that we've got a couple of wild cards that may go and change things up for the drivers?
Oh, definitely. And, you know, as you know, in these F4 cars, it's also a case of just keeping your nose clean, because slightest bit of damage on these cars can actually cost you a lot of lap time.
And with the new model out now, where you go off onto the dirt, it actually goes and loses out a bit of time. Do you think that's going to be a considering factor of how close you're willing to push the limits of these cars, or is it going to be try and keep it all together?
Yeah, most definitely it's going to be keep it on the black stuff, as you said. I mean, I ran wide once or twice, and it does cost you a lot of money. Even if you just put one wheel on the dirt, you can cost yourself half a second in lap time.
So there is it getting called. Well, it looks like the session is over, so we're going to leave you be to talk to the team while you're figuring out how you can get the jump off a line. All fixed setup. The only thing you can change is the brake bias. Do you think it's going to be a race down to the wire for everyone?
Yes, it is. Most definitely. You can look forward to 20 minutes of very hard racing lying ahead.
Well, we'll have a chat to you after Heat 1. Good luck, Yanneman. And swapping out
Thanks,
the
Steve.
Microphone to the likes of the steering wheel, we'll go and have a chat to him.
That'll still confuse me a bit, but which one's which, but I'll get to it.
The middle pedal is your accelerator. The far right one is the brake.
Okay, cool. And the left one?
The left one is the fun one.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay.
Chat to you later. Yanneman Price going and giving us a bit of insight from the pits, which is always good to see. But now we are getting ready to race, ladies and gentlemen, for Heat 1. This will be the first of our final heats. Oh, is Etienne Swart going and giving us a little bit of a pirouette as he was trying to go and make a little bit more time. James Pepper still out on circuit along with Werner Swart. They're trying to improve their lap times. But ultimately, though, Troy Donachek will be leading out the field. So let's see as they make their way through. Timer will be running out shortly, and we will be getting into it. James Pepper actually slowing up, the Cool Camels driver, while Werner Swart, on the other hand, he's keeping the pace up, trying to improve his lap time and hoping that just maybe he will be able to jump up from that 16th place, get ahead of Etienne Swart. I think it's going to be a close one, feathering the throttle all the way through, just trying to keep it all together at this point. As they battle their way through the Titan twisties, you can see utilizing rotation. Unfortunately, not having enough time for that. Taking a look at our field, though, we got Troy Donachek, Jan Ferree, Luke Lucchesi, Dino Sturman, Bego Krobler, Chase Herald, Noah Hendricks, Nico Killerman, along with Jeff Hancock, Timothy Stanton, James Pepper, Steve Pepper, Janneman Press, Doug Herber, Etienne Swart, and Werner Swart, rounding out our field, lining up for the race. And this is going to be a heated battle. Troy Donachek out in first place. Going to have to keep ahead of Jan Ferree, starting out in second. Luke Lucchesi, Dino Sturman, hoping to give up the get the charge in a little bit more. Keeping an eye on Dino. He is new to the series, puts himself into 4th place. And Bego Krobler sitting into 5,000. Into 5th place. And then we have got Chase Herald lining up. As everyone seems to have been lined up on the grid, except for Etienne Swart at the moment. He hasn't seemed to make the grid as we're waiting for the timer to run out. All drivers look to be on the grid. And we wait for the lights, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, it is time. Wait.
Green flag.
And green go as they get back onto the throttle. All revving it up. Gave it everything they got. Good start to Troy Donachek getting the run. Ferree going and trying to defend like mad as got Luke Lucchesi, pushes him out wide. Dino Sturman trying to get into the fight as well as they fight their way around the circuit. And take a look, even Chase Herald going and battling out with Bego Krobler. But Dino Sturman right up the rear gearbox of Luke Lucchesi off the start. A little bit further down, Chase Herald's got Bego Krobler, and it looks like Jeff Hancock's trying to go for the inside line, unable to do so. Goes out wide and allows James Pepper to go and get the drive as they look to go side by side. James Pepper hoping to carry more of a charge at this point. Troy Donachek, though, losing out the drive, has got Ferree. Looks up on the inside. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It does look like Ferree's got the inside line. Troy Donachek goes out wide, tries to go for a cutback. Side by side, these two go as they battle it out. Once again, Ferree just able to get a little bit more of a run. Dino Sturman onto the dirt. He does lose the drive and has Luke Lucchesi immediately onto the back of him. Luke losing out the drive. Does get Chase Herald and Bego Krobler now starting to follow his way through. So drivers are switching it up left, right, and center. But out in first place, we have got side-by-side racing as we battle our way around. Jan van der Merwe jumping into the chat all the way from the GT side in the GT3. Good to see him out there. He's going and having a great support. And I know for a person that has had some amazing races, he's keeping an eye on this. Lewis Nokia as well, being a part and parcel into the world of the grandstands. Good to see him out there. But unfortunately, we're not seeing him in the car. Troy Donachek, though, going on the inside of Ferree, pushing as hard as he can. And that is allowing Dino Sturman to get into the battle. Gabriel Melmed getting into the fight as well, which is always good to see. That a couple of our ACC, our GT3 drivers coming and keeping an eye on the single-seater action as we've watched first, second, and third all within 0.2 of a second for this 20-minute race. Now it's going to be who's going to lay onto the tires more. Jan Ferree going and locking down that inside line, really walking Troy Donachek a little bit as they carry their way through down the straight. Troy Donachek able to carry the momentum, though. Will he be able to utilize it into the corner? Side by side, they go again. Loses out the drive, though. Dino Sturman tries to come back at him. Chase Herald also doing everything he can to get involved in the fight. So Dino now has put himself into a bit of a winning situation. Now going to make it 3 wide. Who's going to be later on the brakes? And side by side, my heavens. These guys are all giving it what they can. Jeff Hancock seems like he's gone out of the weeds. So Jeff Hancock has lost out. Chase Herald is now caught up. Luke Lucchesi Bago Krobler all involved in the fight for first place, who is free leading out the charge. Troy Jolenchik doing everything he can. He's got Dino Sturman right behind him, as you can see, utilizing the train at the moment. Does look like Chase Herald, though, trying to bait and switch Dino. Dino does lock down the inside line. Chase Herald, though, having to try and contend back. Bago Krobler goes out wide. He loses out the momentum to Luke Lucchese. A little bit further back, though, we do have James Pepper and Steve Pepper, our UK contingent, having a good run. Nico Killerman still keeping up the pace. He's got Doe Herber behind him, Werner Swart, Etienne Swart, and Jenneman Price also getting involved in the fight. So Jenneman now trying to contend with. He has got Jeff Hancock's closing up the distance to him as well. So good to see the guys battling it out. But this is what I love to see. Single-seaters going and keeping within the slipstream. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. All contending for positions at this moment. And Bago Krobler in 6th place. Not too far behind. Waiting for the opportunity to close down the distance as they battle their way around. So far, quickest lap time was set by Bago Krobler, 1:28.72, while everyone else ahead of him is doing 1:29s, and they are losing a lot of drive. It does look like Nico Killerman and Doe Herber have had a coming together of one. So let's see if we can try and get a look at it. This is Nico Killerman. And what happened? Did a little bit of over-rotation come into play? And yep, there's over-rotation. He tries to get himself back and going. Reverses out the way. Doe Herber lands up with a ever so slight of contact by the looks of it. And this is from his point of view. Let's go on board with the roll bar as he powers his way through. The Team Tryhard Racing member, also gets it sideways, drops a wheel, tries to get himself going, and has the drivers passing him left, right, and center. So even Janneman Price going and putting insult to injury on that one. But let's take a look back up to the front, though. Dino Sturman, Troy Dolenchik, and Jan Ferree are keeping up the fight. This is first, second, and third that are taking it down to the wire. And then you've got the likes of Bago Krobler. He's chasing down Luke Lucchese. So right down to 6th place. These are all the top 6 fighting it out. Ferree going and defending like his life depends on it. Troy Jolenchik, though, does get the drive as he tries for the cutback. Dino Sturman, though, gets a little bit more drive side by side. And will he be able to have enough as Ferree has to contend with him? Still side by side. Chase Herald looking where he can go. Tries up on the inside. And super, super close. Those wheels are nearly interlocking with one another. Ferree goes and contends and manages to get by. Luke Lucchese now has Bago Krobler right onto the back of him as they fight it out. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. But out in front, Troy Dolenchik leading out the charge. But you can see the train happening as all the drivers are trying everything they can to figure out what's going to work for them. Jan Ferree, though, is got a bit of pressure from Chase Herald up on the inside. Ferree locks up the wheel, loses out the drive. Chase Herald says thank you very much. He gets by. Luke Lucchese tries his luck. Ferree still going to try and put that front wing underneath the likes of Chase Herald. They're unable to do so. Luke Lucchese is going to carry the momentum. Bago Krobler now getting in tow. He's going to keep into this fight as well. Looks up on the inside, unable to do it. He backs out of the fight. Chase Herald loses out the drive, though, goes out very, very wide. And here comes the train. Like Ferree, Luke Lucchese, and Bago Krobler all trying to contend with one another. Middle of the circuit and out in front, Dino Sturman and Troy Dolenchik. They're going to go late on the brakes. See who's going to go. Dino taking first place. Goes out wide. Does he lose out the drive, though? As Troy Dolenchik tries to battle his way around it. It's turning into a monumentous battle between our top runners. Troy Dolenchik having a great time out there. Ferree has got a chase. Herald all over him. And then you have got Luke Lucchese, who's just constantly hunting for a way past. Does look like Ferree lost out drive, though. Is Troy Dolenchik able to get the run? Now that has brought the likes of Chase Herald. It does look like Janneman did go off circuit as well. But this battle, we can't even take our eyes off at the moment because one blink and we have a change of positions. Well, maybe while there's a little bit of time, let's actually go and take a look what happened to Janneman Price. And he was contending with Jeff Hancock's. There is Noah Hendricks. Does look up on the inside. Counter steer, loses out. And thankfully, the driver's able to take evasive actions at that point. So losing out a little bit of drive there. The tail just snapping underneath him. Chase Herald feeling Dino Sternum right behind him. Dino just look up on the inside. Goes late on the brakes. Chase trying to undercut him though. Unable to do so as he gets stopped dead on the apex. Our drivers really putting in a massive fight. At the moment, this is our closest battle as Chase Herald and Dino Sturman are going to take the fight. It does look like Troy Donachik has opened up the gap to Jan Ferree, Luke Lucchesi and Bego Krobler have opened up the gap to one another as well. So this is great to see the drivers still pushing as hard as they can. A little bit further down the field, we have got Werner Swart. He's getting onto the back of James Pepper. A little bit further back, though, we have got Jeff Hancock and Etienne Swart are doing battle. Noah Hendricks out on circuit, going and giving it everything he can to try and put a bit more of a fight for his return to the world of league racing here at Raceface. Doug Herbert dealing with Nico Killerman right behind him. Steve Pepper is running a little bit further back. Timothy Stanton and Janneman Price doing everything they can to keep going. I see that we do have a bit of contact going on. This was James Pepper. Gets a little bit sideways on the exit, trying to get the power down. And let's see, will he be able to keep it going? Nope, there's a snap oversteer. And drivers having to take evasive maneuvers, taking a very tight line to keep it all together. Yellow flags being waved. Drivers having to figure out what they can do. But ultimately, still out in the front. Dino Sturman and Chase Herald still keeping reasonably close to one another. So, out in front, first place, Troy Donchik with Ferree chasing behind. Absolutely amazing stuff. Then we have got Dino Sturman in third place. Jonas Gradling actually going and saying, how's it? So, good to see. Chase Herald in fourth. Luke Lucchesi, Bego Krobler, Werner Swart, Jeff Hancock is out there. Etienne Swart, Noah Hendricks, Doug Herber going and having a bit of fun. He's in 11th position. 12th, Nico Killerman, Steve Pepper, James Pepper, Timothy Stanton, Janneman Price, rounding out our field for Heat 1 so far, but the racing has not given up, as it looks like Werner Swart feeling the pressure of Jeff Hancock, looking up on the inside. He's able to sneak on by, but will he be able to go around the outside? Doesn't. Werner goes and cuts him off, going and making sure that that's not going to happen as he gets back into the toe. Werner now feeling the pressure as he has got to try and run away. It also looks like Etienne Swart getting a little bit closer to his family member, along with Noah Hendricks battling around as they fight their way through the circuit. And I also see James Pepper, unfortunately, coming off the circuit once again. So absolutely amazing racing. Our grandstands going absolutely mad for what's happening out here. For all these cars battling it out. Single-seater action, and I've got to say, for drivers that mostly go and practice their time in GT3s and in TCRs and all that type of shenanigans, they're now getting into the single-seaters and, well, I think the bug has bit because everyone looking to take the fight as Werner Swart battling it out. Jeff Hancock swoops underneath him. Etienne Swart now a little bit closer. Noah Hendricks just keeping within trailing distance like a stealth bomber right now, waiting for his opportunity to get past the likes of Etienne Swart, Werner Swart together. The two backmarkers, teammates going and battling out the two brothers. And rest assured, there is no team orders there whatsoever as they fight their way around the circuit. So great to see little battles all over the show as drivers contend with one another. As you can see, Werner just having to back out of it. He's trying to go underneath the likes of Jeff Hancock's unable to do it. And so is Noah Hendricks also trying to make his way around. Back up to the front though, Dino Sturman has got Chase Herald onto the back of him. Luke Lucchesi also becoming a viable threat at this moment, lying in 5th place. So it's absolutely great to see the drivers having a monstrous run for their final. Well, this is the second last heat of the season. And the drivers all looking to make it to go and get it to the line. Remember, they do have the grand prize brought to you by Adendorff Machinery Mart, which is an absolutely phenomenal toolbox worth a good couple of £1,000 that will be to them. And we do have some interesting things that, well, are to come in the future, so keep an eye out on all the social media to it. Werner Swart opening up to Etienne Swart. Etienne dealing with Noah Hendricks, now closing up a distance to him, trying to look up on the inside, looking around the outside as we get a beautiful shot of everyone in the grandstands. And does look like the drivers are going to contend it out. A couple of drivers wondering, well, a couple of grandstands of the guys in the grandstands wondering if a multi-21 will be pulled between the two Swarts, and I will have to say no. There will be no multi-21 at this point. I think it's an all-out slugfest. They are fighting it out for the championship. Both Werner and Etienne are looking to try and close down the distance to one another. And with it all on the line, it's going to be a close one. The Werner Swart is currently in 11th place in the championship, while Etienne Swart is in 15th at the moment. So Werner cannot lose out to the likes of Etienne. He has to keep going at this rate if he wishes to take his way to the top spot. So let's see how this is going to work out as they maneuver their way around. Noah Hendricks, though, is on the attack, trying to go inside, outside, looking for any gap for likes of Etienne Swart to lose out that little bit of time. Also taking a look over to the grandstands, we do have likes of Devin Delport coming and joining in a bit more fun. Good to see him out there. Roland Ferreira, who was racing in the likes of the TCRs. Good to see him out there going and giving a bit of support. Eric Kirstein, Jonas Grayling, going and having a bit of fun. Then we've also got Zodiac Samurai being a part of this. So good to see SESAs, the whole show coming and being a part of this. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Good to have everyone here, and a big welcome to everyone. Make sure you go and hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content that is currently being put out. If you're enjoying the racing, go and give us a thumbs up as well. And also, comment. Go and hear it. We love to hear you guys out and who you're supporting, what you think is going to happen, as Noah Hendricks, now ahead of Etienne Swart, now needs to try and carry the momentum through as they put the power down. It does look like Etienne Swart's going to have the inside line. Will he be able to contend with it? Noah Hendricks is very, very skilled when it comes to prototype racing, so he knows what to do. When it comes to the likes of high aerodynamics, he's got a lot of trust in the cars. As he puts the power down, this is a lot closer to his driving style versus the likes of GT3 racing, or even the likes of the Tin Tops. Dino Sturman has got Chase Herald and Luke Lucchese for company. They are fighting it out for third place. Troy Dolanchik still leading out the field. He's currently out in first place. Jan Ferree in second place. Dino Sturman out in third. Chase Herald out in fourth. Fifth, Luke Lucchese. Bago Krobler giving Chase. Seventh place is Jeff Hancock's. Werner Swart, Noah Hendricks, and Etienne Swart still keeping very, very close, tucked underneath that rear wing as they get a little bit more of a run. Doe Herbert trying to make up some time as well. Nico Killerman a little bit further back has got Steve Pepper chasing him down. Timothy Stanton coming around the corner has got Joneman Price trying to make up his lap times after having unfortunate spins in the car, and James Pepper going and maintaining his drive. So James Pepper trying to get a little bit more of a drive. Good to see the UK contingent coming over and doing battle with us once again here in South Africa, contending into a South African championship. We love to see it. We love to have the guys. Luke Lucchese, though, on the back of Chase Herald, tucking up closely behind that rear wing as they put the power down. The gap is starting to open amongst the drivers as they are losing time to our first place man. Best lap time, though, was set by Troy Donchik, a 127.86 as his quickest lap time. And he is leading out ahead of Jan Ferree, who is in second place with that 128.41. Dino Sturman, though, the last lap time was a 128.19, so they're making up a bit of time as well there. So good to see the drivers thinking of what's going to work for them at this point. So far, top speed of all the drivers has been around about 218, 220 kilometers an hour. So the drivers really focusing on trying to get one step further at this point. Dino Sturman, though, going and utilizing the Aston Martin colors and trying to feel the power of Alonso. Well, Chase Herald has got the AlphaTauri, loses out the position to Luke Lucchese. He's going to try and take it down to the wire, and he's going to pull a Yuki Tsunoda at this point and rabbit it out of the hat. He's going to have to utilize everything he knows. I wouldn't say a Daniel Ricciardo because, well, that means you've gone and pranged a car. But it does look like a little bit of a lockup just ahead of him, and that was Dino Sturman, as Chase Herald and Luke Lucchese are going to fight each other out and hoping that they could get a bit more of a run. Oh, Luke Lucchese going and losing the tail end there, and that allowed Chase Herald to get by. So unfortunately, that did not go to plan. Let's actually go and take a look what happened to Luke Lucchese and jump onto the roll bar. And you could see, counter steer, the tail just snapping out underneath him, and unfortunately losing a bit of drive. So the drivers now having to contend with that. Field starting to open up ever so slightly at the moment, between all the drivers as they maneuver their way around. But first place going out to Troy Tolenschik for Heat 1, and that will be taking the championship. Jan Fourie taking second place. That will be helping him up in the points and getting ahead of Jason Coetzee. And that will put Jan Fourie currently second in the championships. Then we have got Dino Sturman, Chase Herald in fourth place. Bego Krobler, Luke Lucchesi, Jeff Hancock, Werner Swart coming across the line. And it does look like we have one of the cars facing backwards. Who is that that's backwards? And was that Noah Hendricks? What on earth did you do, Noah? Noah Hendricks spun it out and now is trying to reverse his way. Oh, and there's a contact. So Noah Hendricks trying to reverse his way, unfortunately pointing in the wrong direction. And there was a contact between himself and Nico Kellerman, who was trying to make his way around the circuit. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Heat 1 for tonight. We're going to have Heat 2 coming up momentarily. And let's take a look at the results. Troy Tolenschik taking out the first position, along with Jan Fourie, Dino Sturman, Chase Herald, Bego Krobler, Luke Lucchesi, Jeff Hancock, Werner Swart, Etienne Swart, Joe Gerber running out in 10th. Then we have got Steve Pepper, Timothy Stanton, Jan Price, Nico Kellerman, Noah Hendricks, and James Pepper rounding out the field. That has gone and changed it up a little bit because it allows the likes of Troy Tolenschik to actually score enough points that will get him ahead of Jason Coetzee, who was not here. Maybe Jason Coetzee will come into Heat 2. We'll have to find out. And Jan Fourie will be moving up into that second position at this point if he can keep up the momentum. So let's see how it's all going to work out. Julian Familiaris also, who's doesn't seem to be here at the moment. We'll have to deal with the likes of Jan Krobler. That's aka Bego Krobler. They are tied for position. Bego Krobler scoring points will be moving himself up into fourth position. And Julian Familiaris will be down into fifth position as it stands. Unless something goes on and it changes. So, let's see what finds out. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we get ready for our next bit of racing, let's see if we can try and get the likes of Janneman back in the box to have a chat to him. And let's see if we can get this one right. Janneman Price, are you there, buddy?
Yes, I'm here, Stephen.
What a race out there, and a proper slugfest all the way through. We saw that you had a few problems, but there was some great racing with the drivers up ahead going, and literally we had first to sixth going and taking it down to the wire for a good portion of the race. Troy Tolenschik ultimately getting the win, scoring enough points to put him first in the championship. But how are you feeling out there? How's the competition going and feeling out there? I mean, this is absolutely incredible stuff. Nail-biting, you can add.
Yeah, I didn't do myself any favors with those two spins I had in succession. I think the first one was in that battle with Jeff and just lost the rear end, trying to take the corner too tightly to trying to defend the inside line. And I think I overheated the rear tires because the second spin followed shortly afterwards. So I had to do a bit of a recovery driving.
We saw a couple of drivers actually having that same effect where it just gets that snap out and you're having to counter steer like crazy to try and pull it back. When you're in the car in that situation, I'm sure a lot's going through the mind of where are the other cars, where can I go, and is this going to come rocketing back into the field? Because it does look like you at that point you're in control and then you become a passenger in your own vehicle.
It does. On this type of setup, the rear end is fairly loose and you can slide it to a certain extent, but slide it too much and then you get that snap oversteer like I had. So you thought you're in control of the slide. No, you're thinking, no, don't worry, I can control this, and all of a sudden it just goes the other way. So it tends to get interesting when you overstep the boundaries.
Now we're heading into the likes of Heat 2, the final heat of the season. I'm sure butterflies must be starting to build up and figuring out what's going to be done. I know that lots of drivers are going to be considering of what can they do differently. What's the type of mindset that you will have to go in as a driver going into Heat 2, knowing it's the final race of the season. It's make or break out there to go and duke it out down to the wire.
Well, Stephen, in these type of cars, to be very honest, it's, for me personally, kind of a hit or miss. You can't think, nah, I'm going to take this easy for 20 minutes and, just keep it within boundaries and hope other people make mistakes. You can't do that. You need to go for it, and it's either going to pay off or it's not. And by that, I don't mean contact with another car, necessarily, because you've seen the close racing we had. Brilliant racing, anybody. I'm talking about keeping the rear end in check. It's either going to stick or it's not going to stick, and you're going to face the wrong way.
It's going to be an interesting one out there. And how did the track feel? At first, it looked a bit slippery out there. Eventually, it started to grip up. From your point of view, did it start tapering off a little bit at any point? Was it a bit of an odd one, or what? Give us a bit of a feedback of what that track felt like.
No, the track started getting better and better. I mean, I was doing my quickest lap times later on in the race, and getting closer to what I was doing in practice. So let's see what Heat 2 brings. I mean, this one was fairly interesting for me. Brilliant racing by everybody. I mean, geez, we were in a 4-car battle and running front wing to rear wing in some stages.
And I mean, the Adendorff machinery Mart being a major sponsor for the Raceface F4 Season 1. I mean, it's a massive gamble to go and say, look, we're going to sponsor the first season. But ultimately, I think it's all paying off. Lots of guys enjoying the competition out for the Raceface F4, powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart. Also, the thought of the prize at the end, that's starting to come through. A lot of drivers chomping at the bit for the amazing professional kitted out toolbox brought to you by an Adendorff Machinery Mart. That's going to be sitting on the mind of quite a few drivers at the moment. We've had a bit of a point change. Jason Coetzee was not there in race 1. He's lost out, dropping into second position, if I'm correct by this. Then Troy Dolanczyk up into first, and Johan Ferree would be putting himself tied with the likes of Jason Coetzee, if not slight point, 1 or 2 points behind. Julian Familiaris wasn't there in race 1, which is going to bring Johan Krobler, aka Bego Krobler, up into 4th place. They were tied for position. Luke Lucchesi was out on the circuit. He's only 2 points away, or 1 point away from Timothy Stanton. I mean, this is what we saw in the TCRs, where the guys are just so close in terms of points. It's right on top of one another. You're lying in 18th position with an opportunity to move up into the likes of 17th, 16th. You have a bit of a run out there, but do you think the final heat is going to be just everyone wearing their hearts on their sleeves and going to battle it out? Because it's not over. We've got literally 2 minutes and then the session will be firing up. Any last words from your side before we leave you be, and you'll have to go and get your qualifying done a second time around. And well, that being said, what's a mindset? Now that you did your first qualifying, you said it wasn't so great. I know other drivers are feeling the same. They didn't quite have the drive that they wanted to. Do you feel it's going to be a little bit different heading into this next qualifying session?
Yeah, I mean, we've done the race, we've done a qualifying now, second time around. I'm definitely going to go for it. And regarding points-wise, I didn't do myself any favors when I missed round 3, because you missed 2 races. So, a bit out of it, but I'm going to try and give it my best this last race.
And also, Noah Hendricks was on the back of your tail as well. You and Noah Hendricks, it's been a while since the two of you have actually shared a circuit. How does it feel to have a familiar name lurking around and giving you a bit of a fight, and knowing he will return? And I'm just going to say it out here. You did beat him, but not by much.
Well, Steve, you know me. I don't, it's good to have familiar names back. It's good to have them back on the track. But you know my style of racing. I don't race a name. I race the car in front of me and I race the car behind me. And that's how I go racing.
That's why you turn yourself around, to make sure that the car behind you is the same car you remember. Okay, now
just to double check, if the guy's still behind. But I haven't perfected the J turn yet, so still working on that one.
That's still to come.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna be heading down to the sessions now. Okayama International Circuit, being a 3.7 kilometer circuit, it is a difficult one. Which do you think is the corner to watch out for, in your opinion, from racing in Heat 1?
Personally, for me, final corners, I do tend to struggle with it sometimes. I try and push too hard through there. And then also locking up into Atwood as you go onto that back straight. It's a corner that you can take a lot quicker than you think, but take it too quickly and it does hurt you. It hurts you all the way down to the hairpin.
So you got to be well aware of the situation at hand, what you're doing. Well, thank you very much for the little bit of a chat, and we'll leave you be to get your thoughts together in that one. That was Yanaman Price going and giving us his thoughts. We'll have a chat to him after the race to give us a bit of insight of what's to come. But taking a look out to the circuit of Okayama, it is a stunning, stunning day for Okayama. This is Heat 2 of Round 4, our final heat of the evening and also final heat of the season. Going to do battle once again. This has got a lot of heads turning, a lot of people, a lot of new names coming into the world of iRacing, and it's good to see the guys having a bit of fun out there, being a part of the situation. Taking a look at the circuit, it's 26 degrees, temperature 74. In terms of humidity, partly cloudy, so it does have a little bit of shade coming in. 7 kilometer headwind though, and that is actually as you come out at the top of the circuit, that Atwood curve, before you go into the long straight. That is going to be the benefit of anyone that's utilizing the toe. There's a beautiful aerial shot of the circuit. Twisty, turny, Okayama being absolutely a stunning one. Good to be here at the Okayama International Circuit. Practice is out at the moment while guys are getting in. It will be a 5 minutes, and then we will be jumping into our qualifying. I know a couple of guys are going to be really, really excited with the situation at hand. Taking a look over to our grandson, Noah Hendricks, going and saying how's it to everybody, which is good to see. Lewis Nakia out there. Daniel Rowe joining in the party as well, along with Roland Ferrer. Sucky goes bossy. And hopefully I got that one right, Sucky. And it's Bago rocking the old BMW Williams livery, it seems. Yes. And pulling in a, I would say, wouldn't be Nigel Mansell at that time. I don't think Nigel was in the Williams team at that point, or utilizing, might be. But it's good to see it out there, the old Rothmans colours coming into play. And also a couple of the ZRC drivers coming into they play, and they were actually practicing for tomorrow night's racing at Bathurst and Thursday as well. So going and keeping this off to the side. Good shout out to the ZRC team coming in and having a bit of a party with us as well. Good to see you guys out here, and hopefully your practice is all going well. I know that you're doing a test race as well with one another, which is always good to see guys trying to improve racecraft every step of the way. But out on circuit, drivers now getting themselves ready to go. Steve Pepper hoping to improve his time. James Pepper also looking to improve his run when it comes down to the wire. And let's take a look out there. I don't see the likes of Noah Hendricks, unfortunately. Doesn't seem to be in the grid. If Noah Hendricks, if you're out there on the grandstands, buddy, suggest getting into it, because Heat 2 is open. And Dina Sturman now first out of the pits. Troy Donchik coming out a second. Troy has done enough to go and secure that first place. If he can maximize the points in Heat 2, he will be able to get a little bit more of a run. So Dina Sturman, Bago Krobler in the Rothmans colours, trying to make a bit more of a difference. Werner Swart out on circuit as well. Jan Ferree getting back out. And remember, Ferree was in contention as well for a fight into the top spot. And he is lying third in the championship. Can take second in the championship if he keeps the pace up this evening. Taking a look out to the cars there. Troy Donchik, Dino Sturman, Bago Krobler, Doug Herber, Werner Swart, Jeff Hancock, Timothy Stanton, Steve Pepper, Janeman Press, Etienne Swart, James Pepper, Nico Killerman, Jan Ferree, Luke Lucchese, and Chase Herald. It will be starting Heat 2 of our last heat of the season for season 1 of the Raceface F4, powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart. Once again, big shout out to them as well. And I know Lewis is working a little bit in the background, and I'm going to actually see if maybe I can twist his arm a little bit to come have a chat. I know Lewis has been working in his lab, I would call it, giving us a bit of an insight every so often. And Roland Ferreira saying, use no brakes, it's faster. Oh, Roland, you did that in TCR. We saw it, buddy. You even landed in the weeds. You were incredibly quick up until that time. But Lewis, let's see if I can maybe twist your arm. Maybe we can get a bit of an insight of what's happening in the world of the factory, in your lab at the moment while we're watching the start of qualifying at this point. If you want to come have a chat, head over to the Discord, into the interview room. I'll pull you in for a little bit of a discussion to just get a bit more of an insight. So we'll see. We'll see who we can get that's been part of the series and being part of the backing to it. And as I said, big thank you to our sponsors making this all possible. As our drivers make their way around, they will be getting themselves all fired up for this evening's race, for the final heat. 20 minutes of racing, 15 minutes re-qualifying to get it all sorted out. So, as we keep an eye out, everyone's still trying to build up a little bit of heat into those tyres. Lap time coming in, Dino Sturman putting in the fastest lap time, 1:28.5. He was beaten out by Troy Dolenchik, getting a little bit more of a run. And Bagel Krobler up into third place with that 29.03 at the moment. So guys are trying to push themselves a little bit harder every single time. You Surreal going and saying hello from the grandstands. Good to see Surreal going and having a bit of fun. You Cereal. Sorry, you Cereal. I'm getting that one horribly wrong. Should actually go get glasses at this point to read the writing properly. It's good to see a couple of guys jumping into the grandstands to have a bit of fun with us. Good to have you guys here. Big welcome to the Raceface channel and a big welcome to the Raceface F4 Season 1, powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart. Good to have you guys out there. Good to see everyone having a bit more of a fun. I know that we have going to be having Bryce firing up with Heritage Day coming up this weekend as well. And I think a couple of these drivers are going to be really, really looking forward to going and setting up some fires. So we will see what happens to it. So as our drivers maneuvering their way through, trying to get a little bit more of a run. Our drivers looking to dig deep at the moment. And let's see if we can go and have a bit of a chat to everyone out there. So, quickest lap time out on circuit. Troy Dolenchik to beat. He is the man on top of his run. We'll have to keep ahead of Jan Ferree out in second place. Dino Sturman in third place. And loses out to Luca Kezi, that 1:28.43, coming into a bit of a battle as well, which is good to see. Absolutely great stuff out there. Chase Herald getting a little bit of a run. You can see Yanaman Price going and chasing down in the F4. He's also trying to make a bit more of a move. A couple of drivers actually dropping a wheel on the dirt, really pushing hard. That final corner, guys are able to stretch their legs a little bit too far and lose out a bit of time. So let's see how this is all going to work out for all our drivers. Dino Sturman, though, has been the wild card in the battle, so keep an eye out on him. It's been rather great to have him joining in for the last race, but also putting in a monstrous fight as he claws his way down. Jan Ferree, our TCR champion, our two-time official Raceface TCR champion, and that cannot be taken away. Season 1 and Season 2, he managed to lock it down. And we'll have to see what works out for all that. And I know, just taking a look from Adendorff Machinery Mart, they're saying it's absolutely fantastic to see the racing out there. They were extremely on the edge of their seat, so it's good to hear that the primary sponsor is absolutely through the moon of what's been going on for the Raceface F4 Season 1, powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart. But Troy Donchik putting in the quickest lap time, a 1:28.26 for his run. Jan Ferree 1:28.39. Luke Okezi a 1:28.43. Dino Sturman a 1:28.51. Bago Hrobler getting up into 5th place, 1:28.92. Then you've got Chase Herald a little bit further down. He gets a little bit of a spin. Timothy Stanton trying to make his way around. James Pepper in 8th. 9th is Jan Prace. Steve Pepper going and landing off in the weeds. He's up into 10th place. Jeff Hancock's into 11th. 12th is Nico Killerman. Etienne Swart still out on circuit. He's in 13th, looking to improve. Werner Swart and Doug Herber rounding out the field at the moment as they power their way to the top. This is going to be a proper run for all the drivers. Everyone is putting it on the line. Werner Swart actually putting in one of the second fastest top speed, and that was at 214 kilometers an hour. So I mean, if we pull up our top speeds, there it is. That is what the drivers are doing, and how they're able to get those lap times is absolutely incredible, and it gives you a bit of an insight of what the top speeds of these drivers are pushing. Now remember, this is a fixed setup class. This is, you only can adjust your brake bias, so this is down to driver skill. You're essentially in the same car as everyone else. The exact same car. There's no difference. There's not even a difference in weight because you decided to have a hamburger before jumping into the rig. So this is going to be a very interesting run for our drivers, and having to figure out what they can do and what they will be able to battle it out. It's good to see it out there, and the guys hoping to get a little bit more time. Taking a look though, a couple of guys getting a few off tracks as we can see, and that will impact their times, and that's with them going off the circuit and having to have their time deleted for exceeding track limits. And that's something that's going to be sitting in the minds of all the drivers at this time, especially for the likes of the final qualifying Heat 2 and the final qualifying of the season, as we see Werner Swart making his way around the circuit. This is going to be exciting stuff. But let's actually take an onboard look with our roll bar as Troy Dolnicek into turn 1. Taking it very gingerly at the moment. 4th gear, turning it in, off of throttle slightly, trying to slide the car around, keeping it all together. You could see the slight tire degradation on the left-hand side. The shine starting to go away, and you're starting to see a little bit of graining on that inside. On the right, you'll see on the inside of the wheel there's actually starting graining to build up there, and that is over time. That's something to bear in mind with as we take a look at Jan Ferree. He's also got slightly more graining on the left hand front wheel on the inner of the wheel, so that tells me how much pressure they are actually putting on these cars, and that's where it all comes into play. The guys having to figure out what they can do as they maneuver their way around the circuit. As we jump aboard, this is the gyro, which is very similar to the likes of the roll bar cam, but it will give us a little bit more of a steady cam. As they move it way through, you can see how much movement the cars actually do have on the front suspension and on the rear, what they are busy contending with at the moment and having to try and figure it out, sliding their way around the circuit. That's going to really give it all they got right onto the wire. Taking a look inside the cockpit, this is the view that they are seeing currently. That halo being very protective also can be a bit of an annoyance for a lot of the drivers, but everyone having to contend with it. You can hear a slight feather of the throttles from every single one of these drivers, just trying to figure out what will work, what is going to be the run at the moment as they power their way through. So a little bit of an insight of what the cars are doing, how many laps are going to be left of this qualifying. We have running a little bit closer. We've got just under 4 minutes left. Troy Dolanchik out in first place. Jan Free in second. Dino Sturman in third place has now got Troy Dolanchik right up against the back of him. Bego Krobler trying to get into the toe and utilize the slipstream as they maneuver their way around. Good to see that we've got some Aston Martin colours. And utilizing a Mercedes engine, Aston Martin, yet managing to outdo the likes of Mercedes. But when it comes to the F4s, they're all the same, running in the pack. And our little F4s going and showing off what they can do, and also been really testing the drivers of what can be done. The 220-minute heats have been very, very different to what a lot of the drivers tend to do versus the longer races. I know like Steve Pepper and James Pepper, they race in 45 to 55-minute races in the F4s in limits of adhesion. The Cool Camels team all the way from the UK and representing the Cool Camels automotive motorsport hard artwork. Always good to see them out there having a bit of fun and causing a bit of carnage out on the circuit with some fantastic racing. I've spent more than enough time side by side with the likes of the Pepper family. And there is Chase Herald, also one to keep an eye out for at the moment. Has been a little bit of a dark horse in the chase, able to close down the distance on the drivers and really take the fight up to the front. So let's see if he'll be able to do it again. He has to get ahead of Bego Krobler though. Johan Krobler, who is trying to maneuver his way up through the championship, utilizing those Rothman colors, hoping that he can go and get a championship win. Won't be this time, but will be aiming for next time, going and ensuring that he can finish up as high as possible. Timothy Stanton, a little bit further down. He is in the tribute colors to Honda for Red Bull. That was back in the earlier times when there was the final goodbye at Suzuka for the likes of Honda and Red Bull on those engine manufacturers. And just going and utilizing the tribute colors. Good to see the guys having a bit of fun out with different colors out there. Jeff Hancock, Steve Pepper, also trying to make a bit more of a run. Gentleman Price up into 10th place. Nico Kilman down into 12th. And Nico Kilman utilizing the likes of the hidden colors that you can't actually see what the aerodynamics are of the car. Too bad everyone else is driving the exact same car. So close but no cigar. Unfortunately, people will figure it out and be able to get a little bit more of an understanding. This is the official FIA F4 with the homologated chassis that is utilized, so the Dallara chassis. And yeah, this has been a global effort by the FIA to bring the F4s into homologation, into sim racing, which is good to see. And I know they are pushing at this point to get different countries all on board with the ASNs, which would be counting like your Motorsport South Africa's, your Motorsport UK, to all start running the F4s as a championship that we can crown champions such as like interprovincials and nationals. I know that is ongoing discussions at this point, and that is the ultimate goal of the FIA, utilizing the Iracing service. Luke Lucchesi out in 4th place, getting a good run. The RDSA driver having a bit of fun out there and putting down the power. He's hoping to get a little bit closer to the fight and hoping that he can try and close down the distance of 128.923 on that last lap. Just not able to get the pace, and I think maybe, just maybe, the life's been taken out of those tires just yet. Because remember, they add another 5 minutes onto this qualifying and you've got pretty much your first race. So the drivers are essentially doing about, well, they're doing a second race right before the Heat 2 themselves, trying to push themselves a little bit harder. Checker flag comes out though for everyone, and now it is getting into the times of, as soon as you cross that line, hope you got the fastest lap time. Otherwise, get yourself nice and comfy, get yourself organized, ladies and gentlemen, get yourself with a cool drink, get yourself with some food, because we're going racing in just a few moments. We will see all the drivers do battle for the final time here at Okayama as we wait to get onto the grid. So let's see if we can get Yanneman back and get a bit of an idea of goosebumps starting to kick in. And let's see if we can get him. Yanneman Press, you there, buddy?
I'm here, Steven.
Only a couple of seconds left before the start of the final heat. How's it feeling out there? The nerves starting to kick in down in the field as all the drivers going and standing, waiting for the opportunity, because I can tell you that the grandstands are on their feet at the moment, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, well, a couple of us sitting in the pits just relaxing, getting our minds sorted for the race that lies ahead. But still a lot of guys out on track trying to push hard in these last dying seconds of qualifying. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. Last race of the season.
Well, it looks like everyone is in the pits and we're waiting for the official grid. But last race of the season, last heat of the season, Adendorff Machinery Mart fueling the fire for the Raceface F4. Lots on the line to go for every single driver here. Unfortunately, no, just saying that, Noah Hendricks has made it. Noah Hendricks has made it. He wasn't originally in, so it's good to see that he's managed to get back in and get racing. So we're back up to a 16-car contingent for this heat. Open wheel racing. This is going to be a race. What's the plan? What's going to be the goal to get off the start line?
Send it.
Send it. Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave
Let's hope we get a good start.
Let's leave you with that one. And thank you very much for the chat. So there we go. Yanniman Press giving us a bit of insight before we get started. And now we're moving on. We have got Troy Donchik, Dino Sturman going and battling it out. So all our drivers lining up, getting ready to go. Troy Donchik, Dino Sturman, Jan Fourie, Luke Lucchese, all looking to get into the battle. And then we got the likes of Jan Krobler, Chase Herald, Timothy Stanton, along with James Pepper, Jeff Hancock, Yanniman Press, Steve Pepper, Nico Killerman, Werner Swart, Doug Herber, Etienne Swart, and Noah Hendricks just making it in. And Noah, if you could get any closer, you would be sweating, my friend. You definitely will be sweating. Well, getting ready to go. They would be starting to put it in gear, gridding. Now it's lined up. Let's see where it's going to go, everybody. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 laps. And let's go. Off the start. A little bit of a burnout. Dino Sturman trying to close off. Troy Dolenchik going into the middle of the circuit as they take it down to the wire. It does look like Jan Fourie trying to go around the outside of Luke Lucchese as they take the battle all the way through. And Fourie losing our position at the moment as he looks to try and battle out with Luke Lucchese. Chase Herald getting right up against the rear gearbox. He's pushing as hard as he can. Bago Krobler trying everything he can to get a little bit more of a run. Timothy Stanton dealing with Jeff Hancock and James Pepper right behind him. And James Pepper, not going to back out of it. Slight contact between the two. A little bit of a touch of the wheels. Oh, contact with Sturman. And there we go. Oh, what a crash. James Pepper just arrived on scene of accident. And that sent him all the way into the wall. Did look like Stanton had a bit of a problem with Jeff Hancock there. And here is Dino Sturman and Troy Dolenchik. They are taking it first and second. They're going to continue the fight that they had. Then you have got Jan Fourie, Luke Lucchese onto one another. Chase Herald, Bago Krobler, and Steve Pepper now dealing with Yanniman Press and Nico Killerman that are fighting it out behind it. Oh, and Yanniman goes off. And there is a bit more carnage. That's sideways action, unfortunately, coming into it. Troy Dolenchik dealing with Dino Sturman. Dino able to outbrake him, though. Gets into the fight. Jan Fourie tries to tuck in on the inside. Unable to make it work. Luke Lucchese trying to make his way through. And this is now turned into 1st to 6th once again. These cars are all going to battle it out. You can see Troy Dolenchik going to maintain that outside line. Dino around him and along with Fourie trying to make his way through. Dino going and taking the late dive into turn 1. Troy Dolenchik missing out the apex. That's going to allow Fourie to get into the fight with him as they battle their way through. Chase Herald right up on the inside of Fourie. He is going to try and take it. He gets into 3rd place. Fourie loses out the drive. Contact with Luke Lucchese. That drops him down. Bago Krobler is able to keep it. And Bago Krobler going and taking the sweat off his brow at the moment because that was extremely too close for comfort between him. But out in front, Dino Sturman along with Troy Dolenchik and Chase van der Merwe going and fighting it out. So the drivers every single one of them pushing themselves a little bit harder. Dino Sturman doing everything he can to try go up on the inside of Troy Dolachek. Does so. Troy losing out the drive. Chase Herald tries to come back at him as the door immediately closes in his face as he tries to get back onto the power. So the drivers are having to really figure out what's going to work here. Bago Krobler trying to get a little bit closer, but it's a three-way battle for first, second, and third at the moment. Chase Herald, though, looking to try and fight his way through. Troy Dolachek going and swooping left, swooping right, trying to keep themselves going. Dino Sturman stuck on the outside, though, is going to lose out the drive as he tries to carry the momentum. Bago Krobler, the Hybrid Academy driver, now getting into the tow as well. He's joining in to make it a 4-car race between them. They originally were up to 6. Now is 4 cars after the unfortunate contact a little bit earlier on. And cars having to get themselves sorted out. Take a look. Dino going really hard on the inside line. Troy Dolachek swooping across the nose of Chase Herald as he tries to maneuver his way through. That cost him a bit of time, though. Loses out the drive. Chase Herald immediately gets right up against the gearbox. Dino Sturman, though, trying to come back at him as they fight their way through. Bago Krobler now into the toe of Chase Herald. Looks up on the inside. Not close enough to do it. They are starting to close down. That looks to be Jeff Hancock's a little bit on ahead of them as Bago Krobler goes and loses out the drive. He tries to get himself organized, and Steve Pepper says, thank you very much, I'll take that position. Etienne Swart also moving up in the position. Now, first, second, and third, a little bit of argy-bargy between the two, a little bit of a bump here and there, and gloves are off between the drivers. Dino, though, getting the drive. Troy Dolachek losing out the drive, and Chase Herald now trying to come back at him, sliding his way around. I know Julian Familiaris is keeping a very close eye on this championship as they fight their way through. They do have Jeff Hancock, who's going after James Pepper, that's just ahead of him. And then you got Nico Killerman doing everything they can. So out in front, it's still these two battling out. Troy Dolachek, along with Dino Sturman and Chase Herald, are going and fighting it through. They're getting closer and closer to the back markers at the moment. They've got to be very, very aware of it. Current lap time, so has dropped into the 130s as they maneuver their way around. So they're not quite into the same lap times they were doing just as yet. Still, those cars reasonably heavy with the amount of fuel that they got in. Troy Dolachek as battling out Dino, locking down that inside line. He's able to go and contend with it. Goes out wide. Troy Dolachek, though, gets a slide. Able to get into on the outside. And Chase Herald trying everything he can to get the fight with him as they battle their way around the circuit. Absolutely incredible stuff. Steve Pepper along with Etienne Swart. Etienne Swart has got Noah Hendricks right behind him. These two now getting into one another's little fights. It's great to see that for 5th and 6th. Bago Krobler, he's out in 7th, trying to make up some time. 7th place. 8th place is Timothy Stanton, Jan Ferree, Werner Swart, Doug Herber, Janneman Price, who after that unfortunate spin and contact has got Luke Lucchese all over the back of him. Luke is going to really put the pressure on. And Nico Killerman, Jeff Hancock has got James Pepper all over him. So James Pepper is going to really throw the salt in the wounds now and try and get around the likes of, Jeff goes out a little bit wide. And here comes our leading pack right behind them. And Troy Dolachek, now seeing that Dino is on the charge, Chase is on the charge, is going to be wondering, will the back markers be able to move out of the way in time? As per the rules, as Troy Dolachek gets it sideways, loses out the drive. Dino tries to go up on the inside of him, pushes him off the apex, and now trying to make his way through. Chase really keeping the pressure up on them. The back markers have got 3 corners to move out of the way once the drivers get within about a second or half a second. So let's see how that's going to go. Dino Sturman, though, getting pushed out wide. Deep on the inside by the likes of Troy Dolachek, who's trying to keep up the battle. Chase Herald immediately back into the tow and really figuring out where he can go. What will be able to make it go side by side once again. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Still in an almighty fight at this point. And our leaders now taking a big look into the corners. Doug Herbert looks like he's also gone into the weeds and has landed up with a bit of an accident. But out 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is what we keep an eye on at the battle. Chase Herald having to take a little bit of a move to get out of the way as Dino trying to look left and right. Had to double check his mirrors. Looking 3 into 1 corner. That's not going to work, but does look like Chase Herald lined himself up beautifully to try and make his way by. Loses out the drive, though. You can see counter steer a little bit on the dirt, though. That is going to make it a little bit unsteady. Gets a little bit of a sideways drift on the exit as Dino Sturman able to keep it going. Steve Pepper, though, starting to close the distance down on the drivers And slowly but surely, the UK driver going to become a threat at this moment to the race as they fight their way around the circuit. Good to see them out there and having a great run. They are getting closer to this battle. James Pepper and Jeff Hancock are going and fighting out. This is our second closest battle as Steve Pepper goes and loses out of the final corner. That's going to drop him down. James Pepper gets up on the inside, goes out wide. Nico Killerman has gone out and he's off into the weeds. He's going to lose out 2 positions. And Jeff going to send it up on the inside, carries the momentum through and gets a great run up through the drive. So good to see them out there having a great tussle and having a bit of fun as our first 3 now starting to open up a bit of a gap. This is a battle for 14th, 15th, and that is James Pepper and Jeff Hancock doing battle with one another, UK versus South Africa, and they have got the leading pack starting to close down. This is going to be interesting where you got to utilize your head in this of what you're going to do. Oh, big send for James Pepper. Outbreaks himself, loses out the drive. Jeff Hancock, though, trying to go around the outside, is going to battle it side by side as they make their way through. Nico Killerman, oh, contact with Jeff Hancock. He goes and loses out the drive. Here comes Troy Dolenchik, though, past Nico Killerman, Dino Sturman, and Chase Herald managing to get by Nico Killerman without too much of a hassle. And Nico now moving up ahead of Jeff Hancock after that unfortunate little contact between the likes of himself and what looks to be James Pepper when it was going side by side. When you're running this close, though, there will be mistakes made by all the drivers. Another little battle that is Timothy Stanton and Jan Ferree. They are going and having a great slugfest between one another. So it's also something to keep an eye out for. Oh, a little bit of sideways action. And that was James Pepper losing out the drive. Dino Sturman and Chase Herald, though, were they had no problem. They were unfazed by what just transpired in front of them. They kept their power on and they trusted that the cars will drift off and not become a fight into it. We're starting to get into the closing stages of this race, though, and it is going to be a proper little run as they battle their way through. Jan Ferree getting on the inside of Timothy Stanton. These two know each other all too well. Timothy's going to try and take the fight. Ferree going and closing down the door as quick as possible, making sure that there will be no way to lose out the time here as they put the power on. So the guys all getting closer and closer to one another. And lap times starting to build. Let's actually take a look at their last lap times that was put in. And you can see Troy Dolenchik with that 1:29.064 is only a fraction slower than Chase Herald with a 1:29 dead on his last lap time. Dino Sturman also going at 1:29.011. So actually quicker than Troy Dolenchik at the moment, who is trying everything he can to keep up the battle. But you can see the times very close to one another as they fight their way around. And it does look like Nico Killerman dropping wheel on the dirt. He's trying to get himself organized. Chase Herald and Troy Dolenchik going and swapping around, trying to bait each other into lines at this point, trying to figure out who's going to go inside, who's going to go outside, trying to get in the heads of the competitors. Dino Sturman, though, keeping a very close time and is going to be closing down on the distance as they get into the toe. All of these drivers hoping to get a little bit more of a run. Steve Pepper has got onto the back of Bago Kroble, who's on a bit of a recovery drive after his little incident. He's back up into 4th place and now keeps up the charge at it. Noah Hendricks up 10 positions from where he started. I just want to point out, he started in 16th position. He is now in 6th. He is really on a great charge. Good to see him out there having a bit of fun and really doing whatever they can. Chase Herald up on the inside of Troy Dolenchik. He's able to get past, and then you've got Dino Sturman trying to get past him as they get into the toe, really putting the power on with one another. These guys have been battling out. Chase Herald is up 5 positions from where he started. Troy Dolenchik and Dino Sturman, remember, started in the likes of 1st and 2nd, and they were hoping to get a little bit more of a run. Chase Herald, though, going out a little bit wide and loses out the drive. And here comes Troy Dolenchik right up on the inside, going for the cutback, going to take it down to the wire between the two of them. It does look like Troy forcing Chase off a line, though, is going to compromise a bit of time. And Dino Sturman looks up on the inside. He backs out of it ultimately because there is no space. 0.1 of a second separating between the drivers. You can see everyone baiting, trying to snap the toe at this point. Left, right. And Dino Sturman also trying to fishtail to get the guys to move over, and Chase Herald dropping a wheel on the dirt. That's a loss of drive for him as he makes his way through. So the drivers all trying to figure out what they can do at this very moment to get a little bit more of a run. I can tell you right now, I am absolutely sweating, and it's not because of the heat here in Joburg, but it's the heat out on circuit for our top three that have been keeping the closest in the race. This is our closest fight currently out on circuit. Everyone else is all within out of a second of one another, so it's good to see the guys really putting in the charge. But first, second, and third is still open to anyone's game as Chase Herald sends it up on the inside. Dino Sermon also following suit, forcing out Troy Dolenchik as they battle their way around, properly taking the gloves off. Dino trying everything he can. He is the wild card in this. This is his second heat, his first race of the Raceface F4 Championship, powered by Adendorff Machinery Mart. And you could see he's properly getting into the fight here. Troy Dolenchik, though, is doing everything he can. Chase Herald trying everything he can as they defend, fight, and go tooth and nail at one another. If you want to talk about going and pulling out all the stops, they are going tooth nail. They're pulling out all the knives, the stones, whatever they can. Gloves have been kicked off at this point. I think the shoes are off, and they're going fighting. This is cage fighting right now between them. Chase Herald locking down that inside line. Troy Dolenchik trying everything he can. He tries to do a little bit of a step back under braking and manages to go side by side. Chase Herald drops a wheel on the dirt, though, and that has lost him a little bit of drive. Troy Dolenchik, though, did not get on the power as much as he wanted as they fight their way through. Dino Sturman trying to split them down the middle, and you could see goes up on the inside of Chase Herald. Can he make it work, though? Chase able to outbrake just ever so slightly. Chase gets a little bit sideways, catches it right under the braking. Dino Sturman says thank you very much, was waiting for that opportunity as he gets back into the fight with Troy Dolenchik. He has been held at bay by Chase Herald and Troy Dolenchik when they were swapping positions. Now he's able to get into the fight as they want to battle it out. Looks up on the inside of Troy Dolenchik, able to do it. Chase Herald coming and fighting it out. Looks around the inside, the outside, trying to figure out what's going to work for him at this point as they really get back onto the power. Chase Herald not backing out of the fight. Dino Sturman doing everything he can because they are getting into the closing stages of this race. First, second, and third separated by half a second at this point. Dino Sturman looking up on the inside, goes and takes a much, much tighter line to Troy Dolenchik just to go and contend with the likes of Chase Herald right behind him that are fighting it out. So this is our top three, followed by Bago Krobler in fourth. Fifth place is Steve Pepper, Etienne Swart, Noah Hendricks, Jan Faree, Timothy Stanton, Werner Swart, Doug Herber, Luke Lucchese, Janneman Price in 13th position, Nico Killerman in 14th, 15th is Jeff Hancock, and James Pepper out in 16th position. As it stands, our race now into the closing stages, last 5 minutes for our drivers to really sink their teeth into the fight here. As we see Dino dropping a wheel on the dirt, that's allowed Chase Herald to get the drive. He gets on by, and now will be going into the toe as they close down the distance between them, properly nose to tail between one another. And Troy Dolenchik now starting to open up the distance between second place and third place. Chase Herald and Dino Sturman, they are going to fight it out with one another. Dino right up against the rear wing of Chase Herald. Is he going to look for the inside line? Back slightly out of it. He's going to try and go for the cutback, though. Under braking, going to look around the outside. And Chase Herald going in, moving his way over. Just going in, allowing the car to drift ever so slightly to go and close the door on him. So ultimate fighting going on here. Some proper cage fighting between all the drivers. But our closest battle is this little fight that we're currently keeping an eye on. Chase Herald and Dino Sturman not backing out from one another as they put the hammer down really hard in tow at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm on the edge of my seat. I am waiting to see what's going to happen, as it does look like Troy Dolenchik has checked out from the battle. He's allowing the two to battle it out. Chase Herald, though, is continuing with Dino Sturman. Remember, Chase Herald needs to try and maximize points at the moment. Troy Dolenchik getting the fastest lap time, 1:28.3 of the race, and that shows you how the drivers were actually keeping each other busy. Troy Dolenchik, though, loses out the drive, going out wide. That's allowed Chase Herald to get back into the fight. We have gone back to a 3-car race again. I called it too soon about checking out, and now it has gone back into a 3-horse fight. Chase Herald up on the inside of Troy Dolenchik, trying to make his way through, and commentators curse, sorry Troy, and they're going 3 wide through the corner, and now it is a drag race all the way down to the hairpin through the Andretti curve. And now you can see Dolenchik closing down. Sturman having to go onto the dirt under braking. Dolenchik just leaning on Chase Herald a little bit there. Dino managing to lock down that inside line. Now is back into the chase. And now Chase Herald up on the inside. And Chase Herald losing it. That rear end stepping out underneath him and losing out the drive. So he's going to have to try and get himself sorted before Bego Krobler will come around. And there is Bego Krobler, who has now seen an ailing likes of Chase Herald just ahead of him. So he's on a bit of a charge at the moment to take up, because he will be able to get that third place if he can get past Chase Herald. It's not going to be an easy run. Out in first, so Troy Dolenchik, Dino Sturman, they're going to take it down to the wire. Really looks up on the inside, unable to do it. Checkered flag, though, comes out. Troy Dolenchik trying to maintain, and will he be able to take the flag? He does so. Troy Dolenchik taking first place. Dino Sturman in a second place. Chase Herald will be taking a third place, along with Bego Krobler. Steve Pepper rounding out in fifth place. He's going to be happy with that. Here comes Noah Hendricks in sixth place. And we saw him going in reverse last time. Let's see if he'll be able to keep it going this time. He's going the right direction at this point, and will be taking sixth place. Well done, Noah Hendricks. Good to see you out there, buddy. Seventh place, Johan Ferree. Etienne Swart in 8th. 9th, Timothy Stanton, along with Werner Swart in 10th place, is making his way through. He's got Luke Lucchesi trying to close down the distance. I think Luke's a little bit too far back from that, and Luke Lucchesi will be content with 11th place. 12th is Doug Herber. Janneman Price taking 13th position, as he's still on the charge with Doug Herber just ahead of him, 4 seconds up the road. Nico Killerman taking 14th position. 15th going to Jeff Hancock, and James Pepper taking 16th position overall. So with our drivers now just making their way through, coming down to the wire, Luke Lucchesi, Werner Swart, it's taking the line. Luke Lucchesi will be coming across the line and having a good time out there. You can see smiles happening for the likes of the Cool Camels, along with our UK contingent. Good to see them out there in positive spirits. Doug Herber coming across the line in 12th. Janneman Price taking 13th position after having that tail step out underneath him.
Well done, Troy. Do you know
Sure.
Chase? You're in the first race.
There is the guys busy talking as well, and it's good to get a little bit of insight of the radio comms guys congratulating each other and having great sportsmen out there. And that's honestly just what I love to hear. I love to see the great sportsmanship that comes into play. And why not? Let's give it some burnouts, especially with our results, and the guys having a bit of fun out there, showing off what they can do. Troy Dolenchik taking first place, though, in it, and will be securing his victory. So Troy Dolenchik becoming the Season 1 champion for the F4s, brought to you by Raceface and powered by Adendorff Machinery. So well done, Troy Dolenchik, on taking that first place and taking the championship. Dino Sturman out in second place, and what a wild card he was. Chase Herald, Bego Krobler, Steve Pepper, Noah Hendricks, Johan Ferree, Etienne Swart, Timothy Stanton, Werner Swart, Luke Lucchesi, Doug Herber, Janneman Price, Nico Killerman, Jeff Hancock, and James Pepper rounding out our field. And let's see if we can actually bring Janneman into the box and have a chat to him. So let's try and see if we can get Janneman out there. Jan, well done with the race. The tail eventually snapping underneath you, and unfortunately contact came into play. But what we can say for certain is we have just crowned our new champion for Season 1, Troy Dolenchik, getting back-to-back victories will put him into first place. What a race out there. And if it wasn't for the tail stepping out, you would have been in a monstrous battle as well.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, and my apologies to the drivers behind me. But at that stage, we were so close together. I don't even know who collected me, to be honest. But awesome race, and battling from start to finish.
What a run out there, and I've got to say, it's just absolutely tremendous stuff to see the drivers all putting in a huge amount of work. The F4 is really requiring guys to knuckle down and think of what can they do to get the drive on one another. It's been a very, very interesting championship from start to finish. We've seen some amazing battles, a very strong field for Season 1, and especially during the time where we've got severe load shedding drivers are able to come out and have a bit of more fun. Dino Sturman, though, is a driver, the wild card that really played into it and got into the top 3 multiple times. And then you have got Noah Hendricks also moving his way through. I think the bug is bit for some single seater racing. But man, give us your thoughts out there.
Look, these cars are tremendous fun to drive, and it requires a total different driving style to the TCRs that a lot of the drivers have been racing. There's a lot of concentration required. I mean, you can lose control of these cars very easily, but good fun. And let's see what awaits next season.
Yeah, and a big thank you to Adendorff Machinery Mart for the fantastic prize going to Troy Dolanchik, that professional grade toolbox, all kitted out, which is absolutely incredible. I won't say I'm not jealous at this point, but well-deserved victories and some great racing out there for the final round, and I know it's going to be an absolutely incredible one for all our drivers. Our championship, though, we are waiting the official results, but back-to-back victories, in my calculations, the math would allow him to take that top step at the end of it. It's also good to see that we had other drivers, much like our UK contingent coming over. James Pepper and Steve Pepper, a big shout out to them as well, coming all the way from the UK to come race with us and taking the risk to duke it out with the South Africans once again, considering we left them a little bit bruised and battered during the rugby.
Yeah, always good to see them, always good to race against them, and awesome fun. And let's hope in the coming seasons that more international drivers join us to have even bigger grids, more fun, closer competition.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible stuff, and I'll take my hats off to every single one of the drivers. And Noah Hendricks actually said he got the F4 last week, and well, good to see that you had a bit of fun out there, and absolutely incredible stuff. And big shout out to all our drivers for being a absolute fantastic one for this championship. Well, it looks like we haven't got anyone coming to the commentary box to come say how's it for this evening. I know a couple of drivers are extremely worn out at this point, and I think that's ultimately the drivers are absolutely worn out. So good to see that the guys
same as me.
Yeah, that's it. It was a good race all around. But that being said, let's talk about the closing into this, where we've got coming up this week. We've got tomorrow the final round of our GT3 Sprint Series Season 10, Round 8 at Bathurst. To be there, it's going to be a huge amount of fun for the guys, and it's going to be an incredible race. What to do, the final race of the season for Season 10 of the Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. Ryan Ottens did take the win, but let's see if he'll be able to conquer the mountain as well, or will he lose out the drive. I know down in our Pro division, the guys are chomping at the bit because the racing is so close. Moving over to our Grid Championship, we also head over on Thursday to Bathurst on the 21st of September for Round 7, our second last round of the season, which is absolutely incredible. Brought to you by Metal State and Raceface, and powered by MTN. What an amazing one. Good to see some good shout outs there as well. And MTN backing the Premier Series at this point. And good to see the guys really sticking in with the fight. Coming up also AMS2, Automobilista 2 Raceface Season 1. We head over to Kyalami on the 23rd of September. It's going to be an absolutely incredible fight for the drivers as they get to see what a Formula 1 will do around Kyalami, the current configuration. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they will be able to do. And then for the final, we've got Round 9 at Interlagos for our Raceface F1 2023. Absolutely incredible stuff for happening out there, and what a run it was. And closing off. So, I mean, how are you feeling after this? Taking a look. Your thoughts into this?
Well, Stephen, these two 20-minute races in these type of cars, they do feel like 2-hour races that you are doing. So, understandably, if there's not a lot of guys in the interview room, because you do tend to be a bit tired after this one. Strange how different cars can have different effects on a driver. Where some cars you can relax and drive for 3 hours and step out feeling fresh. Other cars 20 minutes and you tend to feel it.
Yeah, no, I've got to say it's absolutely amazing stuff. Taking a look over to the comments, though, we got Steve Pepper going and saying, absolutely great. Thank you for having. No, well, Steve, big shout out to you guys for coming over and being part of it. Psycho Rider also saying his arms are absolutely knackered after that one. Lots of drivers, lots of teams, lots of people standing on their feet for some amazing stuff. But unfortunately, we have to say all good things come to an end, and this was the end of our Raceface F4 Season 1 of the F4 Championship, powered by Adendorff machinery. And saying that, we've got a driver coming over, Steve Pepper, right at the last minute, and just like getting a little bit later to the grid. Steve, well done out there to both James and yourself. And how are you feeling after the race? I mean, that was a proper run for you, and also a big chomp of the bit of you had to keep it all together.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's great to be racing with you guys. It's an absolute pleasure. The race itself, I know what Janneman says, absolutely shattered, giving everything tonight. So and a great result at the end as well for me and Cool Camel. And James, unfortunately, it's a little bit disappointing, but these things happen in racing, don't they?
Yeah, unfortunately, you either got Lady Luck in the pits or you got Murphy sitting with that 13 spanner and a 10 socket. But I know James is sitting next to you, and please pass on that. It's absolutely great to have the Cool Camel team around. Fantastic driving from you guys, and I think the Cool Camel is definitely going to have to design some pictures of you two going and doing battles in the F4s out here, and mix it up with a bit of the South African action. Get a nice screenshot of you guys all together with the South Africans. I think that'll be a nice little one to have. But ultimately, your feelings through the championship, and just from the Cool Camel side, what your thoughts were coming and racing it with the South Africans.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, it's nice to be invited over and what have you. And there's some quick guys, all quick guys in the South African series. I mean, me and James, we've had an absolute blast. Cool Camel wise, I mean, they're absolutely thrilled that we've taken it global, I suppose. The great sponsors, Ian and Lynn, are our sponsors. They're fantastic. They do a brilliant job supporting us and what have you, and with the business that they've got. And we're really looking forward to next season. F4s, TCRs, that's where we sort of we've planted a seed. So yeah, we'll hopefully grow and get a bit quicker and faster, and we'll enjoy it as much. Some brilliant blokes. It's been a really friendly bunch of guys, and they've helped along the way as well.
Absolutely incredible, and it's been an honor having you guys as well for the Raceface F4 powered by Adendorff machinery, and also the TCRs. Janneman, before we let Steve go, and to go and rest up, and also to go and give James a little bit of a hug on behalf of the two of us, on behalf of the entire race for the Raceface team.
He's actually just stood at the side of me.
Is it? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. How's it, James? Oh, all good. And how are you feeling there?
Yeah. It's been a great season. Oh, well, half season for us. Some really big positives, but unfortunately racing happens, and not much I could do to avoid the incident. Other than that, it's been a pleasure to race with you all.
It's absolutely amazing to have you, and you got the skill, mates. Keep up the hard work. It's really great. And I just want to put it out there that I believe sitting in the rig at the moment is your dad, Steve Pepper, is in a rig that you actually won from Dave Cam. Can we get that out to the record? Is that actually true?
Yeah, that's very much true. Yeah, that was an eventful morning for me. I was on my way to school when I got a message from Dave, sort of saying you've won it, and pass my details on to your dad. So I think the following Thursday we went and picked it up.
Wow. Oh, awesome!
There we go. Well,
yeah, we went to Dave's house, and we spent a good 2.5 hours in the company of Dave in his rig room. So it was good. It was an experience and a half.
Oh, absolutely amazing stuff. Yanaman, anything you would like to say to the Raceface, well, the Raceface spectators, the teams, the drivers, and also to our UK contingent, the Pepper family?
Well, from my side, thank you to everyone. Thank you to the viewers, all the drivers, and Steve and James. Always good to race against you, and we hope to see you next season.
Definitely.
Yeah. Maybe
it'd be nice to see you on LOA as well for the limited division as well. So you two get back in an F4 and get challenging us as well.
Yeah, I think, Steve, we've got one race left in the Porsches, and then we're back at LOA.
Yep. No, we will.
Fantastic.
We will be back. The Cool Camels will have to deal with the South Africans coming over to the UK, same as you've infiltrated our race. We will do exactly the same. But absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much to Steve and James.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, fellas. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Incredible stuff there, Jan. But as all things say, it comes to an end, and a big thank you to all our viewers. A big thank you to our sponsor, Adendorff Machinery Mart, jumping on board with us. But ultimately, we have come to a close. Plenty of racing during the week. But for everyone out there, thank you very much for joining us. And like always, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon if you want to keep up to date with all the information that's coming through over the Raceface YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we are pushing hard to get there. We're up to 965 subscribers. So Christmas wish. Do me a favor, go and hit that subscribe and get everyone to hit subscribe. Also follow us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also join us on our Discord as well at RaceFace.Pro. If you're interested in participating in any of our series, head over to www.RaceFace.Pro. We've got all the Mobilista, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Iracing, and so much more to come. And a big thank you to every single one of you for allowing us to come into your homes, have the cool drink, go and talk your ear off, and get to bring all the amazing action from the racing. And thank you for joining us for our first season of the Raceface F4. It's good to have a single-seater finally getting put on the stream. You know how many... I've waited 3 years for this, and now it's finally happened, so I can now go away happy. But Yanaman, thank you very much for the absolute season as well for the iRacing, and because that's wrapped it up for the iRacing for this year. We will have some off-season races for guys to come in and have a bit of fun, so keep an eye out on our Discord at Raceface. That is in the description. But yeah, from my side, thank you very much. Jan, anything from your side?
No, looking forward to next season, what next season will bring. And it's as I said, Stephen, it's always a bittersweet kind of thing. When a season comes to an end, you're on one side sad that the racing is over for now, but on the other side, looking forward to next season.
It's going to be incredible stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like always, we would like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.